Excuse me. Welcome to OmniBros on a Wednesday. Tonight, the horror. I will be talking about comics that are horror, and my friend Lou here will be talking about what, Lou?
Films, TV, whatever. I love horror. I am the horror guy in the group, so that's my bag. I love this stuff.
I do too. Sorry, I'm
Nah, you're good.
eating right now.
You're good. You're good.
I really shouldn't be eating what I'm eating. I'm eating frozen M&Ms from a Ben and Jerry's vanilla cream
Oh man,
caramel fudge.
it's better than the Biscoff. It is better than the Biscoff, though.
Oh, I thought the Biscoff ice cream bars were good.
Oh, they are incredible, but health-wise, they are terrible for you.
Oh yeah. I'll just let these thaw and put them back. That's a lie. Here's True Graphic. How are you doing, True Graphic? Doc Elevator. Happy early birthday, Lou. How does he know your birthday?
That's a good question. I think most people. Well, no, not most people, but it's pretty widely known. Gio and I have the same birthday. So
That's right.
yeah, our birthdays are tomorrow, so we'll be
Oh,
celebrating.
tomorrow. Nice.
Yeah, turned up 35, man.
That was 30 years ago for me.
I turned the big 35, and I'm not feeling it, to be honest with you. Not feeling my age. Feel a little younger than that.
Good.
Yeah.
That's really good. True Graphic can't wait to talk about all things horror. Well, you came to the right place. We're horrifying. William Lee's here. Kane, happy Wednesday to you. Yeah, here's something that NFL Dude said that we read about earlier today. Hellboy releasing digitally day of theater release doesn't give me confidence in it.
No, it doesn't. They have no faith in that movie. I can already tell. And I want it to be good. I just want one good Hellboy movie. Well, we did get one good. We got
two. I love those first two.
Yeah. I don't understand why they just can't make a good Hellboy movie. Ever since Guillermo left those movies, it's like they're cursed. They just cannot get it right.
Yeah.
And even then, those movies, they are not faithful to the source material almost at all. Guillermo does a lot of his own. Well, no, I take that back. That first movie sticks pretty close in certain ways to the first volume of Hellboy. But that second movie is its own thing. It's a completely different thing.
But I still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
The second one.
They're fun movies. They're good for what they are.
So I feel like some movies do well in the box office? Barbie, Oppenheimer, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
But does it feel like movie companies, this is just my question, does it feel like they sometimes don't know how to release certain things now with after what happened with the pandemic and stuff? I don't remember this kind of distribution issue before the pandemic. It used to be they would release them into the theater, and now it seems like if they don't think it's going to be an absolute blockbuster, they give it 13 seconds out there in the like the Fall Guys. That was great. That was supposed to be, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but it looks great. That thing almost immediately went to VOD, and that had two really big stars in it.
Yeah, Fall Guys fantastic. I really like that movie. It's a lot of fun. It's a combination of a lot of different things. I think I think a lot of it is, in my case, I'll use myself as an example. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it to be on streaming, just because of the convenience, and just because it's a lot easier for me to pay the $20 and I can pause it. I got 48 hours to watch it. If my wife or we fall asleep, we could pop it on the next day or something like that. Yeah, it's something we've talked about a lot. I don't have to pay for overpriced food. I could go pick up some wings or something like that. I could cook it here. There's a level of convenience that I think the that I think COVID really brought to a lot of people, because in many ways, movie studios kind of shot themselves in the foot once they started doing day and date VOD. Where during COVID, if you remember, a lot of stuff would be, hey, it's going to be in theaters Friday, but if you don't want to go to the theater, it's also going to be on streaming that same day. A lot of people started realizing, wow, this is really convenient, and I'm just going to wait. And the new model seems to be exactly what you said is, oh man, this is a big bomb. This is not working out in the theater. Or man, this is going to be a big bomb. So we'll give it 2 weeks in the theater and then we'll throw it up on VOD and hope we recoup some of the loss that we spent on it. I think another one that happened to was Borderlands. Borderlands was horrible, did horrible in the movie theater. And it also wasn't a good movie by all accounts. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it. But it was one of those where I think it was a week in the theater, and then within the next week they had already announced, "Yep, it's going to VOD within another week" or something like that. So it kind of seems that's the new model for a lot of people, and it's good and bad for the reasons that I pointed out. It, it's good because of what I pointed out, but it's also bad because now it becomes a bit of an albatross on a lot of the necks of some of these movies. For example, Hellboy. Why am I going to go watch the new Hellboy if it's going to be on VOD within, what was it, the same day, right?
It seems like it. That's what
Right.
NFL dude said.
Right. If it's going to be on VOD the exact same day, why am I going to go watch it in theaters? And what you're kind of telling me is you don't think this movie is good because you're just already like, yeah, let's just try to recoup some money. We'll throw it up on VOD. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't be. But also, what's happening now too is that you've got really good movies that they're going straight to streaming, and they get an extremely limited run in theaters. I think, and I could be wrong on that, The First Omen is one of those cases, and that's actually one of the movies that I'm going to be talking about today, where I might be wrong on that. The First Omen was Hulu, but I think it got maybe a week in the theaters or something like that.
So how can it get any traction that way if it's only in the theater for a week? I mean, you don't get the buzz and the word of mouth that helps build movies at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's kind of sad. It really is, because we've gotten some great movies in the past that bombed at the box office, that have been panned critically, and we've later come around and discovered, oh no, these are great. These are now modern classics. Famously, The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing bombed at the box office, and critics didn't like it. Critics really didn't enjoy it. I was watching, just because I'm a freaking nerd, I was watching old reviews of Siskel and Ebert when they used to have their TV show and stuff like that. And you could catch a lot of that stuff from the 70s, even from the 80s. All that stuff is archived on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I used to watch.
It's great content, and it kind of makes me wish for the old days of when you can have a disagreement with somebody and you could do it in an actual professional, mature manner, because these days I'm going to yell at you because I think you're an idiot because you disagree with me and stuff like that. Which Guillermo del Toro put out this amazing statement this past week, and I'm like, yes, thank you, God. You summed up how I've been feeling forever, where he basically said, we basically have become children where everything is either the greatest thing in the world or it's horrible. There is no in between. And I'm like, thank you, Guillermo, you get it. And it's true. It's true. And I think a lot of that stuff is social media, but that's neither here nor there. It's not, you hit the nail on the head. It's not giving a chance for anything to get traction. It's not giving a chance for anything for people to go out and actually discover stuff and go, man, you really need to go out and catch this while it's in theater, and it'll have a long run in theater and it might do better. Now it's, well, it didn't make any money back its first week. Fuck it, VOD.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of I don't have a good memory for this, but I know in the past few years there has to be a movie that started out small and then gained traction and became something big
Okay.
through like word of mouth. I can't pull, maybe the chat they can pull an example, but I know, like, even like you would say, I just saw this in the theater. It's really good. And like 2 weeks later, I go, okay, it sounds, Lou likes it. I'll go check it out. But that's
Mhm.
when movies were getting like 5 or 6 weeks at least. And then something would build and build and it would become a surprise hit.
Yeah.
So I get it that not everything can be like that, but you're also not giving those small films, or yeah, probably small films. You're not giving those films a chance, or maybe they just go straight to Netflix or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's a lot. The landscape of films has changed, especially in the last few years. VOD has introduced a lot of great things. It's made a lot of things that you normally wouldn't see very accessible for people. But it's also made us kind of lazy in certain aspects, and I'm guilty of that too because I have a kid. I have two kids. Me going to the movie theaters is an expensive prospect to take all my kids. It's either that or I go by myself. And you know, uh, and then even then, I still got to pay for parking because I live in Miami, and you can't go around the corner without hitting a toll spot in Miami that you got to pay for. And then I got to pay for the ticket, and then I got to sit in the theater, and I hope some jackass is. This is the new thing that's annoying me is, and I really saw this a lot during Deadpool and Wolverine, where you've got people that they have no etiquette for being in a movie theater, where they have to pull out the cell phone, they have to record what's going on the screen and stuff like that, and they got to record moments of the movie and everything. I'm like, come on, guys, really?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
That's why my movie buddy and I exclusively go to Alamo.
Yeah.
If anybody acts out there, you can get them kicked out almost immediately. And there was one time and I was guilty of it too, but the entire theater stood up at that part in Endgame when Black Panther comes back and everybody starts coming back. Everybody in the theater stood up and cheered. And I'm like, well, I'm here cheering too because that's an awesome moment. Because it was.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, for everything else, if anybody pops off, does their cell phone, is talking, you raise the white card and the manager will come over, talk to them. If they do it again, they are out.
Mm,
So that's why I go to Alamo. But the other reason, of course, everybody knows that I don't go outside is it's too people-y out there.
yeah. Yeah, my wife and I, we tend to be kind of hermits. We tend to enjoy our peace and stay at home and stuff like that. We go out a
Yeah.
lot, but for the most part, it's, yeah, let's go have brunch with the kids, or let's go do two or three things with the kids, and then let's just come back home. We're not nighttime people to go out and stuff like that. We're very much, we're kind of hermits in some ways, and,
Yeah.
it's peaceful. It's peaceful. I'm not about the drama anymore in my life. I don't need it. I don't want it. Um, I do wish a lot more theaters would adopt
Yeah.
the Alamo method. I think that's fantastic. I think they should have a strict no cell phone policy because I kind of find the whole cell phone thing.
Yep.
Um, I find it really annoying, and it's a pet peeve of mine. I understand that, but can you really not do without your cell phone for 2 hours? Is it really that much of a chore for you to not pull out your phone for 2 hours and actually enjoy what's being shown on
Yeah.
the
If
screen?
there's stuff on your cell phone that's so important you need to check it, you shouldn't be in the movie theater.
Or step out. Just walk
Yeah.
outside for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
And common sense. I have a 1.5-year-old. I don't take my 1.5-year-old to go see Deadpool and Wolverine, right? I don't take my 1.5-year-old to go see Alien Isolation or
Right.
something like hire a babysitter or wait till it comes. Do you know how this year has been one of the worst years for me to go to the movie theater? I've gone to the movie theater maybe once this whole year, and that was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm.
I don't think I've been to the theater the rest of the year just because I have a 1.5-year-old. I've got a lot of
I
stuff going.
don't. I don't think I've been to any other movie besides Deadpool and Wolverine either.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for everything now. I'm like, okay, well, you're releasing it so damn quick on VOD or on Blu-ray. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'll wait. I can wait.
When was Godzilla -1 was last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in theater last year.
Yeah,
That was
same. I
that was
saw it at the
because
Alamo.
yeah, that was because the rest of you guys in the chat were going, no, you really need to see Godzilla -1 in theater, or you're
Yeah.
gonna regret not seeing it. And I saw it.
Yeah. And yours is on the way, by the way. I took it to the post office today.
I appreciate you so much, Jess.
Yeah.
The one that I will say, the one I do regret not seeing in theaters this year was Dune 2. I really regret. No, I take it back. It's Dune 2 and Furiosa. I regret not watching those in theaters.
I still haven't seen Furiosa.
Yeah, I regret not watching those in theaters this year. But I have the disc now, and I throw it on whenever I want now. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it looks amazing. I regret not watching this in theaters. You know, a place that you won't have any regrets, though.
Where's that?
That would be our sponsor site, InStockTrades.com.
Where you can get your collected editions from 30% up to 50 or 60% sometimes. Sometimes there'll be a red tag sale where Superman will not be in there, but other things will be on huge sale in the red tag sale. Don't forget your 2% loyalty discount. $50 or more in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. We always give away during the month a free $50 gift card to InStockTrades.com. That's crazy generous of them. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. Nice. Very good. Very good.
Very, very good. Very good. I find it hilarious how Cycle Cleveland is now betting on the WNBA. Hey man, make your money however you can.
Who Cycle's in there betting on the WNBA?
I think yeah.
Wait, wait, are you
I think he's betting on the WNBA. Hey man, make that money however you need to. Always bet the under on the WNBA.
The Indiana Fever, they are way outgunned. Those women are way. Caitlin Clark needs to put on about 60 pounds of muscle to compete with in that league. I know she's doing great, but she's awfully skinny compared to some of these grown ass women she's playing against.
Hold on one second. Do you watch the WNBA or do you kind of follow it?
I follow Caitlin Clark just because I think it's fun that so many people like her.
Okay.
Other than that, not really.
Cool, man. Cool beans. Cool beans. Yeah. So tonight, this is our, what is this, 8th annual? We do one of these about every year around this time. This is our horror show where Jess and I, we pull out the bloody sack and we pull out we pull out some horror recommendations for y'all. Jess tonight will be handling the comic book side of things because I have not read too much this year in terms of comic books. I'll openly admit that. On the other hand, I will be handling more of the movie and TV side of things. So, with that said, what do you got for us, Jess? I'll let you go first.
Well, I pulled a bunch of. I'll go with current things that I have read. My friend from Sweden, Tony, and I don't want to get too much into this because I told him I'd write something for his blog, and that was like 3 months ago, so I still haven't done it. But it's Little Monsters by Lemire and Dustin. I think Dustin Nguyen. Yeah. It's about a post-apocalyptic world, and the children that we see in it are vampires, but they have been told they can only feed on squirrels. I mean, not just squirrels, but small animals and not humans. And it's kind of it's a small enough group of kids that you really get to know the kids. They're trying their best just to survive, but they're also trying their best to help each other out. And they get their first taste of human blood, and then it sets things into a bad direction. And I don't want to say too much more because I know Tony wants me to save my thoughts, but it's a really good character study on. It's not Lord of the Flies type thing. The kids really care about each other and are trying to take care of each other. But they're also vampires in a post-apocalyptic world, and they have to try and figure out how they can survive. So the human blood thing. They also have people after them that are trying to kill them. Regular humans are still around trying to kill vampires, and it's an interesting character study in the kids, and I really enjoyed that part of it. And I it's pretty thick, and I think Lemire does a really good job of writing this book, showing sort of the genesis of these kids, how they happen to come to be like they are, and how they act together in disastrous circumstances. So I really enjoyed it.
I knew you would. I was that one. I think, did I turn you on to that one, or
probably I bought it, so somebody
yeah,
had to tell me about it. It must have been you.
yeah, that one was really good. I read that this year, and I was really taken aback by just really how good it is. I love the use of the color red because the whole book is in black and white, except for when they use the color red in the book.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some. It is a lot of black and white. I feel like the red is on the covers.
Yeah, you really. So the thing is, you also really grow to. At least for me, I really grew to like the characters a lot. I really grew to feel kind of bad for the
Yeah.
kids too. You get a lot of their backstory and how they came to be what they become to be in the story, and really interesting stories of what happened to these children and why they were turned and who turned them and each individual one. And I can't give too much away, but I recommend that one as well. I think I think if you're looking for something really, really good that's a vampire story, I think you're gonna dig this. And this is actually the perfect time to pick this up because we're gonna get a lot of vampire stuff in the next few years, I think.
Vampires are cool.
Vampires are back, man. A lot of good vampire stuff is coming out.
By Tiny Onion, Dracula. I've talked about this book before. It's an adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Who does the art again? Martin Simons, the one that did the Dracula. I'm sorry, Department of Truth book. Excuse me. And it's an adaptation of the original novel, but it's drawn really well, and the way Tiny Onion tells it is very exciting and scary about the pull that Dracula has. He's in society, roaming around. He's controversial. The artwork is fantastic, and he has a pull on these young women that live with one of the women's fathers. And Tiny Onion just writes this really well. It brings to life the old kind of the old standard Dracula story, only makes it like, here's Dracula at the party, and it's still set in Victorian type England, but it's written with enough of a modern dialogue that you get it. It includes Van Helsing. Here is one of the women under Dracula's spell, and she can't resist him. And then Van Helsing shows up, and people believe that he is actually a monster hunter, and that Dracula, they end up believing that Dracula is actually a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And so half of the book is people believing and wanting to go after Dracula, and the first half is the spell he has under people, and it's really well done.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Nice.
really liked it.
Okay, I'll go next. For my first pick, I'm gonna stick with the vampire theme. Hold on, let me pull up my list real quick. Let's go with Abigail. Abigail was released earlier this year, and it's a really badass, fun vampire film. Essentially, this group of random people are hired to do a job. They are hired to kidnap this little girl who she's coming out of a ballerina recital. And they're hired to take her to this mansion and keep her there for the night while this whole deal goes down and everything like that. It's become a ransom situation. What they end up finding out is the little girl is actually a vampire that they've kidnapped, and the mansion is locked up tight. And she starts hunting them throughout the whole movie.
Oh, it sounds so good.
Dude, it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's got one of my favorite actors right now, Dan Stevens, who yeah, Dan Stevens is in a lot of good shit lately. He does really good stuff. And it's got elements of comedy to it. It's a really black horror comedy. That I think if you're looking for something it's hard to explain. If you're looking for something that's going to scratch that itch of a fun movie where, you just want to put something on that it's not really scary per se, but it's a lot of fun and it has scary elements to it, Abigail's right up a lot of people's alley. It knows what it is. It's not trying to be anything else. And I had a blast with it the whole way through.
I can't think of the movie because I saw it back in like 2019 when I was doing that movie show with Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a similar theme where two guys kidnap a woman and take her for ransom, and it turns out she's a demon. I can't think of the movie, but it was so good. She turns into she's a demon and completely flips the script on those guys.
Yeah.
And the whole movie was excellent. I could go back. I can go back into the movie show that I had and find it, but it was really, and it's more than that. It was a whole thing. But I love the idea that when they get a kidnap victim, it turns out they're the ones that are the victims and not the person they kidnap.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun all the way through. I think you'll enjoy this one. It's on Peacock, so you could stream it right now.
Oh, okay.
It's readily accessible. And if you guys are looking for something to put on, maybe on a Saturday or Friday night, pop a bag of popcorn, and you don't really have to focus. You don't have to really focus too much on it. Yeah, I recommend Abigail. I think you'll enjoy it. Abigail's good. Another vampire one that I'm going to throw out there is Fright Night. The classic 1980s Fright Night. Now I don't
think I ever saw that.
Really? Fright Night is a lot of fun. So they did a remake around 2000. I want to say 2009, 2010. And that one is really good as well. It's with Colin Farrell and Anton Yelchin. And
the remake is? Those are good actors.
Yeah, David Tennant is in it too. He plays he plays a guy who claims he hunts vampires and stuff like that, but well, you got to watch the remake to see it. Fright Night's a really good movie though. It's basically a vampire moves into next door. The kid finds out it's a vampire. How does he go about stopping that vampire who eventually starts to try to date his mom? Fright Night's a really
McLovin's also in it?
Yeah, McLovin's in Fright Night, and he has a moment where I just laugh every single time.
Jake, we're sorry you weren't able to make it, but maybe next time. He's today's filming day for him.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Thank you for trying, Jake. But Jess, I think you would enjoy Fright Night. I think you'd enjoy the more modern take to it a little bit more. So I recommend
Okay.
you check out the 2009, I want to say 2009, 2010 version. You'll have a fun time with that. I really enjoy both. I love the 1981, 1980s one, and I love the remake. So recommend that one.
Well, this brings up something we've been talking about for 6 years, and I don't know. It keeps slipping off my radar. What We Do in Shadows. I absolutely have to start watching that.
Oh my god, it's so much fun.
I know.
It's
You and
so-
Max both have just sung the praises, and for some reason, it's always slipping off my radar, and I only think about it when we're doing the show.
Yeah.
But I've got to start watching that. It sounds so great. And this Fright Night one, the next door neighbor starts dating the kid's mom, and he's a vampire.
He starts seducing her, and it turns out he's a vampire.
That
It's good
sounds
stuff.
so great.
It's really good stuff. And like I said, the remake is a lot of fun, man. I don't think it got enough love when it first came out because Colin Farrell is really good in it. I really recommend this one. Yeah. Actually, while you give your next recommendation, let me go to my shelf and start pulling some things. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Let me
be right
go
back.
over some of the things in the chat. Okay, what the hell? Are you kidding? A live prop bet just popped up. Plus, Harvey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be playing. What do you know about basketball anyway? Come on. All I needed to hit one more three during the whole second half to break even. Break even? Stop, Harvey. Please stop. What's wrong with you? Oh my gosh, you've lost your mind. Are you really doing this or are you just messing with me? Neptune by Michael W. Conrad and Nathan Oten is the best horror comic I've read this year. The main character is released after a 17-year wrongful incarceration after his brother is murdered. Also, props to NFL dude who seems to have seen Black Flag back in 1979 when they sang Nervous Breakdown, my favorite punk song ever. And so that was Keith, I think, who went on to be with the Circle Jerks. So you saw him live. I think with Keith, Dez, and then Henry. I love the Keith and Dez years more than I love the Henry years, although there are some great Henry songs. Anyway, okay, so Neptune by Michael W. Conrad. That's good to know. CNSSS is here. Any special horror comics in October? I don't know. We're just telling you about stuff that are horror comics that we've read. Uh actually the live collected editions show is this Saturday on my channel at 3:00 Eastern time on Saturday. And maybe we'll find some horror comics that we can talk about in October. I know I'm gonna do a read through and review of Philadelphia. So that'll be in October. That book just #2 just came out. Okay, there's too much Harvey betting. Good heavens. Good morning, Joey. Peace and love to you too. Oh, nice. I haven't seen either. I haven't seen Dean 1. No, I haven't seen Dune 1 or Dune 2. During Beetlejuice last week, the guy next to me fell asleep and he pulled up Wikipedia on his phone to see what he missed. Oh my God, I'm losing faith in humanity. Video organic price books. Wait, where were we going? Hey, here's Hondo. What up, Hondo? He just got to see Johnny Marr live. Shining was panned during release, but became a success when it aired on TV and was in rental stores. It was nominated for what? I didn't know that. I saw that in the movie theater. Man on Fire was panned critically, and it is fire. I haven't seen the sequel to Glass Onion yet either. I'm sorry, the Knives Out sequel. I did love Knives Out. That was great. Next, imagine us here in psychodynamic terms. It's referred to as splitting. For instance, reductive polarization to either all good or all bad. Nice. COVID changed how I attend theaters too. I don't want to get sick. No, I agree with that. If the movie is boring, then yes. Harvey talking about gambling for the next 6 minutes. Harvey, you maniac. Mary just read Lugosi, The Rise and Fall of Hollywood's Dracula. Same creator, Twilight Man, Rod Serling, and the Birth of Television.
Oh, cool.
I think I have Twilight Man. That's a graphic novel.
Yeah, we've read that. Twilight Man.
Yeah, you and I both read that. We loved it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Good to see you, Mary.
That's probably my favorite book last year, Twilight Man.
Yeah, it was really good. And I just saw an advertisement for this. Anita Pallenberg and Scarlett Johansson is the voice of Anita Pallenberg during the documentary. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I saw this movie. It was quite a vampire movie. I don't think I liked it as much as a lot of other people, but it was very stylish.
Well, I mean, my favorite vampire film will always be Near Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Near Dark is incredible.
Okay,
I've talked about it before.
I get it mixed up with another movie. What? Near Dark?
Bill Paxton?
Oh, no. Bill Paxton. Have I seen this?
It's directed by Catherine Bigelow.
What? Okay, keep going.
It's a kid falls in love with this girl, and he gets turned into a vampire, or he's about to be turned into a vampire, and he just ends up hanging out with this coven of vampires. It's almost a Western, to be honest with you. Bill Paxton is amazing in Near Dark. He's got a great scene inside of a bar where they lock the doors behind and they kill everybody in the bar, and it's so good.
Oh my gosh, I get this mixed up with a different movie. Okay, Near Dark. Yeah, you've talked about that a lot.
I love Near Dark. I'm waiting for it to get a friggin' proper release.
My favorite horror movies are Hereditary, of course. Midsommar, haven't seen it. Evil Dead. Autopsy of Jane Doe. Whoa. That movie is so scary. The hair on my arm stood up throughout most of that movie. That is a genuinely scary movie.
Yeah.
Wow. I love to be scared like that. That's a great way. David Tennant plays an obnoxious Chris Angel-like TV magician. That's redundant. You can just say Chris Angel.
Oh, poor Chris Angel.
Poor Chris Angel.
I've heard he's actually very nice. I don't know.
Really? Because he comes across as super obnoxious. I love magic and I love the stuff that he does, but he seems very condescending.
Yeah, I could see that too. I could totally see that.
Hey, AS, how's it going?
Oh, man.
Oh, we have a actual comic book question here. Hey, bros, I'm working my way through Justice League, Batman and Flash Rebirths, and wondering when I start Dark Knight's Metal. Peace and love.
You would know this because you've read it all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I covered everything in a video years ago. Where's James? Well, they break the source wall, and that's what opens it up. I feel like Death Metal's the one that needs the lead up, like Justice League Snyder by Snyder. But what leads up to Metal? I have a video on it, Joey. but I don't have James here to put it up. It's all about Dark Knight's Metal and how to read it, and then the man who stopped laughing, the Batman who laughs, it comes after that. Shoot, where I don't have James here. I have a video on it, Joey. If you want to go back in my library like 4 years ago or you can search for it. I believe it's something I did with the minister during a Batter Days. So it'll be a Batter Days from about 4 years ago. And so are you talking about Dark Knights? You're talking about regular metal, right? Not death metal. If it's just regular metal, it's in my library. Oh, well, here's a metal reading order, but it's not from me. What the hell, NFL dude?
Did you do a reading order for death metal?
Yeah, actually, we did.
Wow.
James, thank you. There we go. You're all set now, Joey. Thank you, James. Ignore NFL dude. He's oh, is that my stream? Okay. Oh yeah, it's the exact same address.
I think you owe somebody an apology.
I apologize. I apologize, NFL dude. Thank you. Metal crosses over with JL, Flash, and Nightwing around issue 30 something.
All that stuff started getting mixed up in my head as I was trying to keep up with it. I'm like, well, this book is this book, but this is this metal, and I eventually was just like, fine. I threw my hands up.
Yeah, that's why we had a reading order, and it wasn't. I mean, once we read it all the way through, but I get what you're saying. But I've already. I think I'm gonna have, before I start death metal, I may have to read metal again. Yeah. I've read Justice League Volume 1 through 3 by Snyder like 5 times, and I still haven't moved on. So I have to. I don't know. I may have to reread everything. I understand basically what's happened, so I may be able to go back into death metal.
What else you got, Jess?
I'm going to take a little different road and go for out of continuity DC books. Deceased.
Oh, okay.
And DC versus Vampires.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you may have been the one that turned me on to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Deceased has 5 books now. I've only read the first 4, but it's Tom Taylor at his peak of superpower, because these books are so great. There is a technovirus that has spread to Earth whenever you look at technology. So your phone or YouTube or your TV, you get infected with the technovirus. And what I like about these out of continuity books is they take out the top characters like almost immediately. Like there's serious consequences. And then Tom Taylor and Tom King does this well too. Tom Taylor writes the B, C, and D list characters who are you don't normally get to see very much. They shine in this book, and who actually ends up solving the crisis is amazing, and how they do it. And it puts a spotlight on all those B, C, and D characters with dealing with the technovirus. The next book out of this series is this is the Unkillables. Is the Unkillables I think Unkillables is the one that I really like. This is the one with the villains. Yeah, this is the one with the villains trying to fight the anti-life virus.
Right.
This is This is one of the best books just in general that was released that year. This is the second one in the Deceased line, and it is Unkillables is amazing. So I urge everybody. I'm not sure. Did I read something about a deceased omnibus? I wouldn't be surprised because I own all the standard hardcovers that suck compared to an omnibus. So I'm sure you're going to get that. Um, but I highly recommend this series. I haven't read the fifth one yet, but 1 through 4 had a perfect ending. So I'm not sure yet what five's going to bring to the table. But when the technovirus spreads, they're not zombies, and it's not a zombie apocalypse type thing. It's completely different. But it's just amazing.
Nice. Good choices. Very good choices, especially DC versus Vampires. That's a book.
Well, do you want me to talk about this right now?
Absolutely. That's a book that caught all of us off guard.
Yeah, Lou's the one that I was surprised too. And this was earlier this year or sometime last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When Lou was telling us about DC versus Vampires. And this is another out of continuity thing where most of the heroes become vampires, and a lot of the heroes, they're trying to not become vampires. The big reveal is who the head of the vampires is, and it's great. Again, this deals with a lot of B and C and D list characters and writes them up well. Yeah. Tiny Onion, no surprise, he does it great. And these two books, 1 and 2, are awesome. They are just so fun. So it's not lighthearted, but it's also just sort of breezy, fun reading. Vampires and who turns into a vampire and what happens to them and how they have to take them out. Nobody's safe again, which I love. I love these kind of alternate takes where the main players can be just taken off the board and it's up to the B through D list superheroes to come to the forefront. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I highly recommend these two books that Lou hipped me to.
For my next recommendation, I'm going to, let me see, which one am I going to go with? I'm going to go with, this is for the fan out there that loves Crossed. I'm going to warn y'all right now. This thing goes hard in the paint. This is not an easy recommendation, and it's not one I recommend lightly. But if you are one of those people that enjoys Crossed, and you like your horror on the extreme side, there is an Asian film on Shudder right now called The Sadness. And The Sadness, like I said, goes extremely hard in the paint. It's not really a zombie movie, it's an infected movie. And basically, it's one of the toughest watches I've had in a while, where they do not pull the camera away from a lot of the gore.
Wow.
It goes very extreme in terms of a lot of the stuff that it shows. And basically the premise is that you have this couple who they wake up one morning and they're just going to go about their day and everything. Things are pretty normal. And you slowly start to see acts of violence spread out across the city. And the acts of violence get worse and worse and worse and worse. There is an extreme trigger warning to this. There is a lot of SA stuff here.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Yes, there's a lot of that. So there's extreme warning on that. But this is really that film for the person that really likes The Cross and likes Terrifier and things like that. If that's really up your bag, then you should probably check out The Sadness, because it goes there. And some of the gore and some of the special effects and practical effects that they use is just impressive as hell. It really is. One of my main complaints of why I just couldn't get into the first Terrifier movie was it really didn't give me a story. It didn't give me anything or any characters that I really care about. This at least gives me that, where you get a group of characters where you're like, oh man, I hope they make it through this situation, as the city around them is basically burning down because all these people have just lost their minds and they're turning to extreme violence and extreme actions, and how that plays out. The ending, it's a bit heartbreaking. It doesn't end on a happy note. I'm going to let you know that right now. Well, the movie's called The Sadness. So if you like your Asian horror, this one's up there. This one's up there for you guys.
Doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
It's probably not going to be for you. But again, we have a wide range of comic book readers out here. So I kind of try to cater stuff to that, try to relate to what they would like. So The Sadness is my recommendation for those of you that really enjoy the more extreme side of horror. I'm gonna throw another one out there just real quick.
Okay.
A long list. I'm gonna go with Longlegs. Now, I have promised Jess, because he has not seen Longlegs yet, that I will not be spoiling anything involving Longlegs.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna be fair to him with that.
I do want to see that upcoming during October.
Yeah. Longlegs is one of my favorite movies of the year. I dug the absolute hell out of Longlegs. I understand that it's not for everybody. I think a lot of people you know who the Longlegs is, right?
I don't know anything about it.
You don't know who the actor is that's playing Longlegs. Okay, I'm going to shut up then. I'm not even going to say that then.
Do you want me to leave and you text me or something?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy that you don't know who the actor that's playing Longlegs is, because I feel like the marketing fucked that up. It's very apparent they were don't look it up. It's very apparent they were trying to hide who the actor is that's playing Longlegs, but marketing was like, we have to advertise who this is because things. It centers around a young woman who works for the FBI, and she has this semi-psychic ability to figure out and get a vibe of a situation and if it's bad or not. The movie literally starts out with her going out on a job with a partner, and they pull up to a house and she goes, "That's not the house where the killer is. The killer is in this house."
Oh, the guy's cool.
Like, "How do you know?" She goes, "I just know. I have a gut feeling, and it's telling me that that's where the killer is." You end up finding out, you go through a rabbit hole, and you find out that the serial killer who they're chasing is called Longlegs, and how Longlegs ends up tying into her own story and her own past involving her mom and all this other stuff. It's a very, very, I think, well done movie. There are some moments where I go, logically, you would do this with this character because they reveal some things. Why would you? But you could poke holes at it and stuff like that. I will say, just when you watch Longlegs, look at the backgrounds.
Okay.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about that is just pay attention to the backgrounds and pay attention to some of the shots and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm really curious to see how long it's going to take you to figure out, oh, that's this actor. Because it's really cool. Yeah, I recommend it. I really do. It's very much Silence of the Lambs meets. I don't even want to give away what the other part of that is. It's Silence. Okay. It has a huge Silence of the Lamb, but more of a horror tinge to it, and it's got a little. I said this a few weeks ago. It's got a sprinkle of the devil in it, and I know you like your horror movies with some devil.
I know. I need to see Late Night with the Devil too.
That's on my recommendation list.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll let you go next. I'm not going to take too much more of the time.
I just have a couple books left. Let me double check this one. Is it horror or is it just scary? Yeah, it's Swamp Thing Green Hell by Lemire with the best Doug Mankey art in his career. It's like an end of the world apocalypse, and there's an island. I think the waters have risen, and there's just this island left where the people can stay, and they're constantly getting attacked. And there's a man in a lighthouse that lives further down, that no one wants to talk to, but could have answers to the problem. And there's always, attacks, and then Swamp Thing decides to take things into his own hands. The Green is sort of he's on his own. I don't think the Green supports him in this book because it's about humans' survival, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. So it definitely goes there as far as consequences and gore. It's a Black Label book, so it's got a lot of. I definitely don't want to show that, because when they go to the man in the lighthouse for help in saving themselves from these constant attacks and what the appearance of Swamp Thing means, that's a huge spoiler, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's awesome. So the green and the red are both in this book, and there turns out to be a hero of the red that makes a huge difference in the end of the book, and I don't want to spoil that either. But I loved this book. I thought this was really well done. It's short. It's not very long. It's like 3 issues, but Lemire does a great job in this book of genuinely scaring you. And the art is just A+ by Doug Mankey. I didn't want to show you too much because there are 2 surprises in this book that make you go, oh, that's really cool. I'm into that.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Nice. Good choice, man. Okay, so for my next pick, I'm gonna go with. Let's go with another Korean film. The Koreans seem to be really kicking ass as far as horror lately. I'm gonna go with The Wailing. I recommended this to you last year.
I think you recommended it to me like 4 years ago.
That's
the one that Jenny wants me to see from the show. That's Chad Omnidog's wife.
Yeah.
She recommended it to me back before we even did our show together. And she would come back to do an episode of reviewing it with me if I did The Wailing. So I know The Wailing is supposed to be amazing.
Wailing is incredible. I absolutely love The Wailing. It's I watched it actually. I think it must have been recommended to you from somebody else, because I watched it for the first time last year. I love The Wailing. It's very long, but it's very, very good. And at first, you're gonna watch this and go, "Is this kind of a comedy?" Because it lures you in a little bit with some really dumb comedy at first, and then it gets darker, and it gets even more darker. And
wow.
It's got such a fucking great ending. The Wailing has one of my favorite exorcist scenes of all time. It's brilliant. It is so good. It's there is an exorcist scene involving a priest that they bring into the village, and at the same time somebody is fighting against the priest spirit. It's, oh my god, The Wailing is so good. Basically what ends up happening is this small village in Korea starts to become really haunted after somebody moves into the village. And how that plays out with an investigator that shows up and a cop, and how the cop starts trying to figure out what exactly is going on, is great, man. If you, for whatever reason, have never seen The Wailing, and if you take my recommendation for anything that it's worth, I really recommend you guys go out there and check this one out if you think you can handle it. But The Wailing is very, very good. I love that movie.
I actually own it on Blu-ray with 2 other Korean movies
Oh, dude,
in a
yeah,
box set. So
yeah. I have the 4K sitting somewhere over there. But yeah, I own The Wailing. I had to pick it up when it was released in 4K earlier this year. There was a lot of hype that was surrounding it when I first watched it. It was like, man, you need to watch The Wailing. It's 99% right now on Rotten Tomatoes for those of you out there
wow.
about that stuff. Um, so highly, highly, highly recommend that one. Really, really hit me hard. The next one, just because I'm gonna go with The First Omen. This one came out earlier this year.
Oh yeah.
It's on streaming right now on Hulu. I recommend it. I mentioned this briefly, probably about 20, 30 minutes ago, but The First Omen, within the first 10 minutes, lets you know this is what this movie is. And it does not hold back. I think if it's wonderfully within the canon of the Omen movies, and with it's a great prequel to the actual first Omen movie that was, I think it was Richard Donner, if I'm not mistaken, from the 70s.
I feel like I saw it in 1975,
Yeah, this one fits really
76,
well. It fits
somewhere in
really well.
there.
Right. It fits really well within it, and it basically centers around this nun who she shows up to she's not fully a nun yet. She's just about to begin the process of becoming one, and she's finalizing the process of becoming one. And how that ends up playing into the birth of the Antichrist. Um, so that one's good. There is a scene involving a birthing and a hand that is seared into the back of my head. It is
Wow.
so good. Oh my gosh. As a horror film, it is great. It also kind of addresses the whole jackal thing with the Omen movies, because if you remember that they mentioned, oh yeah, Damien was born of a jackal and the mom and everything like
Oh
that.
yeah.
They address that here and how that
Okay.
happens and how kind of the logistics of it work. Um, it also in a way kind of serves as a little bit of a takedown of some of the more extreme Catholic system beliefs and things like that. So if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, maybe kind of steer away from it. But I dug the hell out of The First Omen. I recommend that one a lot. But it's, again, The First Omen is very graphic, and I think part of the reason why it didn't get a very wide theatrical release, even if it did, is I don't necessarily know that what studio was it that had it? I don't know if it was Warner Brothers now. Whatever studio it was that had it, I don't think they necessarily knew what to do with it. I don't think they knew what they had on their hands, because it's a very tough watch. It's a prequel. It's not a remake.
It's a prequel, Harvey, and it's supposed to be really, really good.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
Lou recommends it.
Yeah, it's really good.
My last recommendation is something I've talked about before. It's a Black Label book by Cy Spurrier, Suicide Squad Blaze. The the art can be tough to penetrate, but it's drawn that way for a reason, because what the Suicide Squad is up against is hard to define. It's your normal Suicide Squad, plus they pick a couple extras out there, and they get this power. It's also a little bit of a love story in there that makes it interesting. They get the regular Suicide Squad has extras in it that end up getting these powers, and there's like 5 of them. They have to take down an entity that sort of vibrates and moves, and you can't really see it. You can only catch glimpses of it, and it seems to attack people at their moments of great great emotions have happened. Depending on the emotion, it attacks and consumes people, and so the Suicide Squad is sent to get to stop it. And it's very dramatic. No one is safe in this book. This is another reason I like this book. No one was safe in this book at all. And it turns out, I don't want to say the origin of the being, but how they have to take down the being, regular Suicide Squad, and then the extra members that all have these special powers. And it's called Blaze, and they only get to live for, like, they're hardened criminals. They're only getting they've super powered them up with this Blaze. It's going to kill him within 3 months. And whenever, like, if it started out with 5, whenever one of the 5 die, his powers get transferred to the others.
Cool.
So they become super powered. And there you see the regular, like, Justice League trying to go in and take the creature down. And they study the creature and what they study it, try to figure out where it's from, what it wants, and it's violent as hell, very bloody. Nobody's safe, and the art can be a little bit sketchy at times, but that's only because like, they're trying to show he's vibrating at a different frequency, hard to track down, and they figure out where he's come from and how he exists. And I love this. It's horrifying because no one's safe, and what the entity does on Earth, and how vulnerable people really are, and how the Suicide Squad goes about attacking it and trying to get it under control. So I highly recommend Suicide Squad Blaze.
Nice.
Cy Spurrier, great as usual.
Nice, man.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go with, let's see. I said that. Okay, there's a found footage movie streaming on Peacock. It's a Japanese, or it might be Korean, Japanese or Korean, and it's called Gojiram, the Haunted Asylum. It's really good if you're a fan of found footage films. It involves a group of people that they have a YouTube show, and they're extremely popular, and they want it to blow up even more. So what they do is they end up going to these different haunted places, and they film themselves using GoPros, using drones and stuff like that. And they end up trying to garner views. In this case, they end up deciding to go to a haunted asylum called the Gojiram, I believe is what it is. And they end up discovering that they bit off more than they can chew in this particular asylum. What I really like about this one is that they've done, ever since the Blair Witch Project, we've seen a few people do the whole found footage thing where, the camera's up front and stuff like that in their face, and to varying degrees of effectiveness. I personally think the best one that's ever done it is Wreck and Wreck 2. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I have those movies. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Wreck 2 has ever been top for me as far as found footage films. This is really good. This is very, very good. There are several points in the film where you find out, and because they're YouTubers, you start thinking, did they actually feel something, or did they actually get scared, or are they hamming it up for the camera because they're YouTubers? You end up finding out one of the directors of the show has a little bit more of a nefarious thing for why they're there, and there's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes and how that plays out and everything. Things start getting a little bit extreme. This has, for me, one of the best jump cuts I've seen in a very, very long time. They use it
Mm.
very effectively, and they use it more than once, and it works every single time that they use it. It's the way that it's shot, because they have GoPros that are strapped close to their face and other various cameras that they set up around the asylum. So there's one particular moment where one person is checking in on another person, and they do a jump cut, and it's great. It's
Mm.
so good. This is a good one. This is very, very good for those of you out there. You can check this one out on Peacock as well. Um, I really recommend Goji Rum: The Haunted Asylum if you're looking for some old school found footage film, kind of along the lines of the Blair Witch Project.
Okay, let me write. What was the other one that was on Peacock?
Abigail. Abigail's on Peacock. I think The Wailing might be on there too,
Oh,
but I'm not sure.
Abigail and what was it? Goji Ron?
Goji, let me get the exact spelling of it. Gonjiam, excuse me. Gonjiam. Haunted Asylum.
Goji on Haunted Asylum. Okay, excellent. Uh, oh well, things are going well for Harvey. Everything's coming up. Cycle Cleveland. Caitlin hit the third three. Okay, buddy. Good luck. Um, did you ever finish Dark Ride?
No, no, I never got a chance to finish it. I need to, man. This year, this year has probably been the year that I've read the least amount of comics in a very long time, just because I've been the year of Sanderson and trying to catch up
You've
and
been
stuff.
reading a lot of Brando Sando.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Dark Ride's really good and scary. I mean, I can go pull it, but it's about a family that has a horror version of Disneyland,
yep.
very horrifying, demonic, and things start to go wrong in there. People start to go missing. What reminded me of it was there's a YouTuber in the Dark Ride. That's what made me think of it. You saying YouTubers for Goji, Go, Gonjion Haunted Asylum. You said there are YouTubers in there, and there's a YouTuber in there that gets things started because people have gone missing. The owner, the father of the two kids, has a very dark secret as to why the the place is so successful, and um, it's part of mystery and it's part horror. It's very much horror, built on demonic themes, and the art is great. And I found I think it's by Josh Williamson, and
Yes. Yes, it is.
yeah, okay, and the kids are Sam Hain and Halloween, and uh, there's there's various evil things that are happening in the background, and things that you think are supposed to be innocent parts of the park are actually possessed by something from beyond, and there's something quite sinister at work here in this park, and it's really, I thought it was effective. I enjoyed it a lot. It had a solid ending, and I found it to be really enjoyable.
Good, good. It's over, right? He wrapped it
Yeah,
up.
book 3. Oh, good. Back Cato agrees. Thank you, Back Cato.
Yeah. I remember starting it. It's not a long series. What is it? 15,
I
16,
think it's 12.
12.
Three trades.
Okay, so it's not really that long. I've been meaning to wrap it up. I read the first half, I want to say. I think I read the first 6 issues of it. I didn't know it was
Okay.
that short. So I might as well just sit down this weekend and I'll knock out the second half of it. Really good concept. I love the idea of a haunted Walt Disney World and how that came to be, because you do find out what the origin of it is and the family having to deal with it and everything. And some really creepy designs for some of the mascots and some of the characters that are in the theme park.
And the rides.
I love it. I love the fact that you can open the book and it gives you kind of a map, like if you were going to the theme park and stuff like that, and you can see all the different rides. It's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, it's a really cool book.
Yeah, I highly recommend that book.
So we'll go for a little bit longer. I'm gonna recommend. Let me see. I've got a stack here of stuff. I'm gonna go with the original Night of the Living Dead. If I could, I'm gonna have to turn off this camera thing. Where is it? Virtual background. No, here we go. Night of the Living Dead, classic, right?
Oh, the original?
The original, man.
Oh, that scared the heck out of me when I was a kid.
Black and white, old school Night of the Living Dead, George Romero. First of the Dead series. I love this movie. I love it so much. There's a lot of commentary here, a little bit of political commentary of the time here, if you can read between the lines. And not only that, still really effective. It kind of sowed the seeds for the zombie genre and things like that, and what people think about modern day zombies and things. George Romero, unfortunately, did not put the copyright on it, or something was messed up with the copyright when the movie originally came out. So immediately when the movie came out, it entered the public domain.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Dude, the movie is in the public domain the day that the movie came out.
How is that possible?
Yeah, let me read the details of it. But yeah, it's been in the public domain since it came out.
Wow.
Then public domain. Here you go. Public domain. The error. When the film's title was changed in the credits, the copyright notice was accidentally removed. The U.S. copyright law requires a copyright notice to be present for a film to be protected. Since the notice was missing, the film entered the public domain.
Shit.
It sucks for Romero.
Wow.
Yeah, that really sucked for him.
Was he able to make Dosh on the following movies?
Well, the following one was, he didn't make the same mistake twice, because the following one was Dawn of the Dead, which I have the second side box set, and I love this box set. It has all the different cuts of the film. The movie looks amazing. Second Sight did a wonderful job restoring this. So yeah, my personal favorite of the series is definitely Dawn of the Dead. So I really love this box set that they put out.
And so he made money on that at least.
Yeah, he made money on this. Man, it's good stuff. It's a really Night of the Living Dead still holds up really well. It's a bottle film because really what it is, it's kind of most of it just takes place inside of a house. It's the Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Where you've got a person who drives up and the dead start walking around the earth. They start roaming around the earth and how that plays out. They end up finding this house. They're trapped inside of the house and everything. I love Night of the Living Dead. Classic, if you've never seen it.
Yeah, I think I was about 13 or 12 when it came on the Creature Features thing at 11:30 on Saturday night. And it was a big deal because they were showing it uncensored because it was 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
And for the time, there were some pretty gory effects. Even though it was in black and white, there was a lot of munching and chomping going on. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I love that scene, Barbara. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, there was a lot of really frightening scenes in that movie. I wonder do you know what the budget for that was?
Oh man, it couldn't have been that much.
Like $100,000 or something?
And maybe a pack of smokes. Actually, you're not far off. Night of the Living Dead was made for $114,000.
Wow, okay.
And it grossed, but you got to remember this is of that time. It grossed during that time period $30 million. So adjusting for inflation.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So the equivalent So the film cost the equivalent of $941,000 in 2022. It made the equivalent 2002 wise $247.8 million.
Yeah. Oh, it just breaks my heart. He didn't have the
Yeah.
copyright to it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It sucks.
Yeah.
Poor George. But I'm sure George turned out all right. I think that young plucky George Romero did okay for the rest of his life.
Okay, good.
And that's kind of, well, I mean, I've got
Kane showed up because she heard Brando Sando. She's been summoned.
last thing I'm going to recommend just because I'm a sucker with this, and I'm watching them with my 13-year-old now.
Oh,
Chucky.
Chucky.
Yeah, the Child's Play collection. I have the box set, so I've got all the movies here.
I didn't know there were so many.
Oh, dude, yeah, you have no idea. Here's the thing. Child's Play, oddly enough, out of all the slashers, probably the most consistently good out of them all. I like all of them, and that might be my bias being shown. Now, there are ones that are better than the other ones. I think Seed of Chucky is probably the weakest, in my opinion. Some people will disagree with me on that. But the Child's Play franchise and even the Chucky TV show is great stuff, and it's a lot of fun, especially in the last few years. They've really modernized it, and they made it a lot of fun. There was a few movies that were on Netflix and on streaming. And the thing is with the Chucky movies, they've never, well, except for the one that they've never dropped the continuity. Everything counts. Everything is in continuity for all the Child's Play movies.
Okay.
So
No, we're almost done.
yeah, we're almost wrapping up.
Okay. My wife just brought me something to eat.
Don't worry, we're
Oh,
almost.
much better. Yeah, I don't have anything. I'm all done.
You're good.
It's
So,
about
yeah.
to become Omnidog Autumn. After Brat Summer, it's Omnidog Autumn. My wife's going with her sister to New Hampshire and New England for 12 days.
Will there be Biscoffs in the house? I'm just asking.
Biscoffs and long legs.
So yeah, man, that's kind of what I got. In fact, I actually kind of have to start getting ready to go because it's getting late over here.
Yeah, well, all the comics I discussed can be found on InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions from 30, probably up to 60% off, depending on the sale. 2% loyalty discount extra comes with that. We give away a $50 gift card every month to courtesy of ISD, to a lucky winner out there like you. $50 or more in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. Yeah. 12 days of food adultery. That's probably right. Yeah. So yeah, this was good. You can find me, OmniDogs Vault, on YouTube, OmniDogs_Vault on Instagram, and my Discord is great. I was just in my Discord and I saw a lot of fun things that I hadn't seen, like NFL dudes seeing Black Flag back in 1979. That's amazing. I got to start going in there more often and seeing what my folks are up to. They've lived incredible lives. So yeah, my Discord and etc. And thank you, Kane. Glad you were here. Appreciate it. And there's my Discord. Thank you, James. And then this Saturday, live collected editions show at 3 p.m. And then Taylor Talks Comics is on Saturdays with me at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. So peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you for joining. I have no idea what you're talking about, Harvey. Stop gambling. That's ridiculous. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you all for joining. This has been a lot of fun, and we always appreciate everybody being here.
Hey.
There we go. Peace and